Howdy, it's the Zen Witch here with another unboxing video, and today I'm looking at Tarot of the Ages. This is an older deck, 1988 by US Game Systems. So it was one of the earlier ones that I had, and it's a multicultural deck. It's beautiful and colorful, and I really, really like it. So that's what we're looking at today. I do have it blocked. Let me bring these up to the front. Standard box, all taped up in my mode. And here is the face card. Actually, it was probably more like this when I opened it way back those many years ago. Tarot of the Ages by Mario Garizio, US Game Systems. And here we have, and I'll show you the box a little bit more. There's a one of the images. There's another image. You can already see the diversity of the coloring in the images and the cultures. Tarot of the Ages, the full color 78 card Tarot of the Ages deck features stunning imagery by Mario Garizio from civilizations and cultures of the past. The Tarot of the Ages features Egyptian civilization of the major arcana. On the major arcana, the four minor arcana suits are represented by Vikings for swords, Africans for batons, Aztecs for cups, and East Indians for coins. Now, I see something wrong here. In that Africans are all lumped, one continent with a million different cultures on it are lumped together as a continent rather than cultures. Vikings, Aztecs, and East Indians, I mean, at least Vikings and Aztecs are very specific cultures. East Indian is also kind of specific, though there's a huge amount of diversity in India. So that's pretty broad too. And Africans is far too broad. So I would have an issue with that. I'm sure it wasn't even thought of in the time that this deck was made and released. So we see the beginning of the major arcana here with Ankh, Uja, Seneb. And I'm going to look in the book right now and see if there's anything mentioned about that particular card and what those words might mean. Okay, wow, this is some really deep stuff. So let me read just a little bit of this, and you can see it's slightly dense. Mario Garizio created the Tarot of the Ages in order to pay homage to Atlantis, the mother continent from which spread the civilization of the world. The talisman of the deck is an Ankh, the cross that represents the key of the life and energy in the universe's endless space. The Tarot describes the play of energy in our star system. It illustrates the combining of energies and the shapes formed, and it explains the principles that rule and determine the conscious processes of the creatures of our world. That's heavy. The one who seeks to know these principles can unveil their secrets by following the route mapped out by the major arcana of the Tarot. In gaining knowledge and power, this secret will be revealed as the Magus. This seeker will be revealed as the Magus, who operates in manifested reality by manipulating symbols. This exalted inner state, however magnificent, is not the last step of reintegration with our inner being. The quest is achieved in the state of the Fool. It is through the Fool that the universal law of love and freedom fulfills itself. Okay. The comprehension of this law is reserved for those who, challenging general misunderstanding, armed by the sharp sword of discernment, and rich with the bright diamond of a pure heart, rely on divine grace. They will express the joy of the world, for they have banned from themselves for today and forever all suffering, which is due to ignorance and the illusion of material and emotional possessions. The book is now open. The golden light illuminates the corridors of the Great Pyramid. The initiates, rising up after the darkness of death, contemplate the brightness of Rota, which, like the zodiac in the night sky, is the testament of the destiny of humanity. In the temple, everything is as it was. The tree of life is fruitful, and yet offers the apple that our first father and mother could not grasp. We are the same pilgrims as those who came first from Atlantis, then from ancient Egypt, and now from Africa, Europe, Asia, and America. Okay, it goes on, and there's the Pyramid of the Major Arcana, so very deeply. So there's a lot of really deep esoteric foundation of this deck. It's not just being presented as a practical tool of everyday, what should I do today kind of things, or working through problems. They are talking about revealing deep esoteric knowledge. Talking about the Tetragrammaton and the ROTA thing, the magician. Like, okay, for example, the major arcana. Um, let's see what it says here. Interpretations in literature of the major arcana are numberless. The comments given for the Tarot of the Ages are rendered in prophetic form. Rather than giving rational explanations for the deep and manifold aspects of the major arcana, we hope to stir up the magic that lies buried within each person. Also given in each description after the title of the card is the elemental or zodiacal attribution of the card, an alternate title, and a Hebrew letter. So magician says air, the creating word, and Aleph. So even that alternate name, the creating word, like high priestess is the moon, knowing of secrets, and Beth. The empress is Mars, the womb of intellect, and Gimel. The empress is Mars? Okay, very, very interesting. And also interesting that the Fool is not at the beginning of the major arcana. As they said, it culminates in the Fool. So let's take a look. And the Ankh is a key, but they don't tell us what Uja and Seneb mean. I sure didn't see it in there. Yeah, I don't see that mentioned. So there's research to be done here. It slightly bugs me because there's kind of some highfalutin language here, and that always will bug me. But anyway, let's take a look at some pictures, shall we? I'll stop bitching now. All right, the magician. So you can see that Egypt is, and you know what? I'm just going to drop these down as I do them. The magician, and there's the element, the elemental symbol. All right, that's earth. No, I'm sorry, that's air. And the Greek, or the Hebrew letter. Jesus, maybe I shouldn't have decided to shoot today. High priestess, the empress, the emperor. Let me see if I can bring you down a little bit farther here, because when I get much closer, then they pop in. All right, sort of. The emperor, the Hierophant, the lovers. Interesting that there are 3 of them. The chariot, justice. The images really are beautiful. I love the coloring. It's rich. Pop in. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. It seems like I have to get really close for it to pop in. Okay. This is somebody drawing breasts that doesn't have them. She's got one pointing forward and one pointing to the side. Interesting. The Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, Strength. And I think you can tell when men do decks because there's lots of tits. Lots of tits, y'all. No naked men, lots of naked women when they don't necessarily need to be naked, and that bugs the shit out of me. Death, Temperance, the Devil, the Tower, the Star. The Star with apparently LEDs in her nipples. The Moon, the Sun. Ah, peen. Judgment. And now, and the Fool at the end. So here's the end of the major arcana in the Fool card. Very interesting. Let's take a look at the Fool here in the book. Okay. The Fool comes before the universe. The path is at the end. The power of fire, divine possession. The path is at the end, at the threshold of the world. The veil of ignorance is torn away. The objects of the senses withdraw from the divine possessed. He is free, invulnerable when invulnerable, wind dries him not, water drenches him not. He cannot be devoured by lynx jaws or by sebek. Ecstasy attracts him, happy stream that pervades the universe, but the Avatar's merciful heart will not abandon men. Reflected in the mirror of time are the 1,000 images of existences known during past lives. What he was keen about, the pleasures and pains, when his foot was on the abyss, when he was about to fall, when he was hunted down and overwhelmed by the bitter madness of daily social rites. Jump not in the other direction. Remember your oath. Hidden to the profane, mixed in the crowd, chameleon of the ordinary, let the tradition stream from your veins to humanity. You know what I'm thinking. Divinatory meanings: thoughtlessness, folly, extravagance, lack of discipline, immaturity, foolishness, irrationality, insecurity, frivolity, inconsiderateness, delirium, frenzy, enthusiasm, and naivety. Those are the positive meanings. Sorry, I'm taking my slipper off. It's warm. Those are the upright meanings. The other side is faulty choice or bad decision, indecision, apathy, hesitation, negligence. But we've already made all these foolish decisions with the upright meanings. So I'm wondering how that is the culmination of the major arcana before we get to the universe. Is this foolish, naive? And that whole thing I read before I got to the meanings, I imagine it would be good if you're like in a very deep place. So this deck, I would not be reading those meanings unless I was already like in a trance state, already out of regular mind. Because in regular mind, reading that, it's just like, wow, does that sound like a heap of bullshit to me? But I can imagine if you're like really open and in the context of a question, some of those phrases there might actually ring a bell. And I do remember when I first had this deck, that I did get good answers from it. And sometimes it was that case where one of the phrases in the preliminary description sort of went right to the case. So here we have the cups. And again, interesting to have a deck that starts with cups. So this is the Aztec civilization, Ace of Cups, 2, 3, 4, the 5, 6. He likes naked people. Come on. There. 7. He likes naked women. 8, 9, 10. And yes, a lot of these cultures didn't have the taboo on breasts that we have. So we have page, and then we have knight, and then we have queen, and then we have king. Clearly the page is male, so we don't have a balance of masculine and feminine in the court cards, and that's usual. There's the king. Then we have the batons, Ace of batons, 2 of batons, 3. You're only showing people from the front when they're women. 4 of batons, 5. 6. The images are evocative. They certainly are evocative, and they're not, like 6 of wands being the victory card. 6 of batons, here we see somebody being carried on their shoulders. Clearly, it's like a victorious procession. So while the images are not like swappable one-to-one with standard tarot, they certainly recall them. 7 of batons, 8 of batons, 9, and 10. Wow. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if you can get a good look at that image. Come on. There. Those people are chained to those stakes. So that's a pretty powerful image there. Page of batons, the knight, the queen, and the king. And I don't know exactly which culture these are supposed to be talking about, whether it's Zulu, South African, Oh, and looking in the book here, it's actually the suit of swords was the first suit, the way they're packaged. And these talk about the court cards first, and they go backwards from king down to ace. Again, tell me why. All right, 10 of batons, you suffer oppression. The baobab's blackened skeleton is stark against the parched plains. The bars of a cage overwhelm you with grievous anguish. Tightening around your neck is the heavy burning iron chain. The ground is breaking up and your eyes veiled with tears can only see the crack in front of them. 1,000 are the oppressed, 10,000 the weights that oppress them. All right, let's see what the suit of batons, if it says. No, see, it doesn't say anything about a specific culture. It just says African. I have a problem with that. Let's talk about the diversity of culture there. Ace of Swords, so these are Vikings. 2, 3. And let's talk about these snowbound landscapes and dudes running around in loincloths. Let's take a look at them. Yay, aren't they lovely? In the snow. Sweet. 3 of Swords, and the women's clothing doesn't make much more sense. Now, I mean, are we dealing with reality here? No, we're dealing with the tarot. Come on, focus! Oh my God. There we are. So see. 4, 5. So yeah, I mean, we're not dealing with everyday reality here, but come on. If you want to honor a culture. But I think he just likes drawing naked people. More cockeyed breasts. 10 of Swords. Page. Knight. Queen. And King. Bare-breasted Queen. In the snow. Now we have Pentacles. Ace of Coins. 2 of Coins. 3. These are called East Indian. 4. A woman of size, that's nice to see, but there's only one. 5 of Coins, 6 of Coins, 7, 8, 9, 10. The Page, the Knight, the Queen, and the King. So again, an odd deck. And I do remember, you know, when I bought this deck and when I was first using it, I was terribly attracted to it. Probably because of the Egyptian. But all of the images I found very attractive. And yes, it's riffle shuffleable, but it's kind of stiff. All right. Let's do one more of those and then cut and just... So give me a message for my viewers, please. Slappity slap slap. All right. Let's cut ones through. Here we go. And then just cut. So we've got the Knight of Coins here. Let's see what he says. And again, they start with the court cards. Knight of Coins, ride on. And ride on, not right on. Ride on, you who are generated by earth. The powerful buffalo escorts you. Money absorbs your time, but your time is not only money, for you saw the dust on the hooves of your horse. Okay. A mature and responsible person, reliable, methodical, patient, persistent, ability to conclude a task, laborious, organized, capable, a dependable person. So it does describe a person, but it also just describes the trait of the ability to conclude a task. Knight of Swords to me, or Knight of Coins to me, Pentacles, is... Sorry, my husband's outside showing me something. But the Knight of Pentacles to me talks about responsibility, taking on new responsibilities. Knights are, that knight in particular is sort of like leveling up. So the knights to me denote maturity, coming into maturity in some sense or another, with Pentacles being the practical. So usually he talks to me about taking on new responsibilities or just leveling up as far as being responsible for your material resources. So I am going to let you go now. I thank you for hanging out with me. And please comment below what you think of this deck if you've used it before. It is interesting. I would recommend it. There's a lot there. There's just a hell of a lot there. This is a deck that could be like the only one in your collection, and you'd get a lifetime's worth of information out of it. I don't know. I mean, I haven't gone back to it for answers for many years, and I don't know that I would, looking back on it now. It is interesting to have several decades of information, in my brain from when I bought these decks, because I really do have a changed perspective. At any rate, please subscribe to my channel if you like what you see here. Every Monday, you're going to get a new unboxing of a tarot. Every Friday, an oracle deck. And a lot of fun stuff on magic and paganism and witchcraft and spells and all that kind of stuff in between. Possibly like some recipes and interesting things too. So set your notifications so you will know every time a new video drops. And I will see you here on Friday. And that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. This has been the Zen Witch. Blessed be.